Are you looking for a better way to organize your video content ideas and plan your social media posts and everything else? I'm creating this video series showing how I use Airtable, a free web-based platform, to organize my thoughts and information to make my entire workflow process simple. Hey, I'm Lowell Brown from Going Social. Recently, I've been increasing the amount of video content I've been producing. And one of the things that's helped me in my process in a huge way is keeping my ideas organized and having a strategy and a flow for the entire process, from idea to editing to production to post-production stuff with my video content and my ideas and my marketing. And that's what I'm going to cover in this video. This is the first of a video series on Airtable and how I use that to streamline my process and save a ton of time. So you'll want to check out future videos, click subscribe, and make sure that you get notified of the next videos in this series that I produce. Now in this first video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover the basics of Airtable, and we're going to start to put together an actual plan, and I'm going to show you how I've organized my thoughts and ideas for planning my videos. And then in series 2, we're going to get into organizing that a little bit better to develop a workflow and a process for the video production. In part 3, we're going to talk about uploading posts as a blog to your website. And then we're also going to cover my process for social media marketing and how I use my video content and plan out how and when I'm going to post on social media. So let's get right into it right now. We're going to go into screen sharing mode, and I'm going to demo Airtable for you right now. So actually, before we jump in, I wanted to give you a brief understanding of what Airtable actually is. Now, in the past, I've tried using tools like Trello and ClickUp to organize a list of information, thoughts, ideas, almost like a Kanban style or even a checklist style or to-do list style. And I've often found that it just wasn't working for me for this purpose using ClickUp, which was primarily what I was using. Now, the way you can think of Airtable is it's really like a database. It's a cross between a database and a spreadsheet. So you plan out a list of items, and they're organized by columns and rows. And the difference with Airtable is it's kind of like having a spreadsheet on steroids, because you can add a lot of advanced features, formatting, and sort them in a different way that you wouldn't necessarily be able to do easily in a spreadsheet. So let's jump into that screen sharing mode now, and I'm going to show you what I mean, and we're going to actually build this together. All right, we're here in the main opening screen of Airtable, and this is a brand new account, a demo account that I've created just for this purpose. So the first thing we're going to do is we're actually going to create a new table, as it were, from scratch. So we're just going to get in here. What we're going to track, we're going to give it a name, Video Planner. And you can customize the font, you can change the color. We'll just leave it like this for now. And we can just skip all this stuff for now and get right into it. So every time you create something new in Airtable, they call it a base. Within the base, so this entire area is called your base. Within your base, you've got different views. So we can create multiple views of our information. And in this first video in this series, I'm going to show you the grid view, which is basically like a spreadsheet. After that, we can change, and I will show you a couple different views that I create, which helps streamline my process even more. But you can have a form view where you can enter things as if it's from a field. You can go into calendar view if you want to plan out what you're doing on certain days. There's a gallery view. You can go into that kind of Trello Kanban style view. There's timelines, lists, and more. So we're just going to start with this grid view. And notice that you have one of many tables that you can add in your base. And you can also organize your information. You can hide fields, you can filter, you can group, you can sort, and we're going to do that in the next few videos of this series. The purpose of this video is just to plan out our thoughts and ideas so that we can start to prep a list of what we want to do for our video production. Now, one thing to keep in mind when you're working in here is that the first field you deal with always has to be a unique field, meaning that you can't have more than one field with the same title or heading. So I'm just going to start creating some fields here. I have a list of different fields that I've created in the tool that I already use for myself. So I already have a list of fields that I've used in another base that I've created, which I'll show later, but we're going to start from scratch. So when you first have a field here, you can click this little arrow and you can edit the field. This plus sign is for adding additional fields. Now this is already created, so we're just going to edit this one. Again, this main one on the left is what has to be a unique field. So I always start just from a brainstorming point of view. The first thing I'm going to enter is just an idea. So I always call this one, let's just call it video topic. Okay. And again, you have lots of options. What sets this apart from other platforms like ClickUp and using, let's say, Google Sheets or an Excel spreadsheet is that you've got these fields, you can organize them as different types. So I can make one a phone number, an email address, a URL, a number, all these kinds of things. And you'll see as we go along how we're going to change this up and use different tools. Sorry, different fields. So first we're going to save this. Now I'm going to add another one. So again, this is the unique field. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create something called a status. And this is to help me tag with each of these ideas of a video topic. What it's going to help me do is it's going to help me tag it as a status. So I like to use the numbers along with a list. So one is idea. So that's my first option here. Two is in production. We're actually going to keep these all caps. And then I'm going to make another one that is 3. We're going to say in production and published. And the cool thing about this as well is that you can change the colors. Now, right now, because this is a brand new account, they're giving us a trial, about a 7-day period to try the Pro plan. The Pro plan gives you a lot more colors to choose from. After that, if you lower down to the free plan, which is what I use, you just have some fewer features. One of them is different colors. So I also like to just add another as a topic. So for example, when I produce videos, what's the topic? What's the topic of the video? So I've done some on LinkedIn. I've done them on Facebook. So you can see again, we've got multiple colors and we can just keep adding some fields. What I'm doing in these initial things is just to help me in terms of organizing my process. You're going to see in a second, sometimes I'm producing long videos. Sometimes I'm producing short videos. So I'm going to create a whole bunch of different fields here, and then I'm going to show you how I organize my thoughts and ideas with this process. Okay. So this one actually I set as a phone number, and really what I needed it to be was an actual number. And you can change the width of each column. I create a field called video flow. And this is mainly where I can go into more detail with longer text. Rich formatting allows you to include things like checklists, hyperlinks, headers, different code blocks into that as well. So this bucket here, this field, when I'm planning out a video, it's almost like what I'm going to script. It's almost like my video flow or process of, you know what, in this video, I'm going to cover X, Y, and Z in this order, and I don't want to, you know, any sort of notes I have for what I'm doing, I will put there. Now the rest of this is more for YouTube, organizing information on YouTube. So my YouTube video title, might want to specify some text for my thumbnails. Now what you can also do with this is actually upload files. So let's say I have an image file for my thumbnail, I can upload it here, and that way I can remember what thumbnail I used, what it looked like. It helps me identify the video, the video files better. I can organize when I'm planning to or have posted the date, the description, copy. So you can see really you're just adding different fields. Now this, as you can see, I'm getting, a lot of fields here. This again is just the grid view. This is kind of like the dump of all the information, all the ideas I have. You're going to see shortly how I'm going to clean this up. But right now it's just a matter of getting all of the things that you may want to include out and organized. So any links that you might want to include in the description, I have as well. Tags. Let's text just in case. So this I like to do as well is when I'm organizing my YouTube videos, you might have more than one, playlist. Now, instead of list 1, 2, 3, that would be, let's say in my example, I have a playlist of Canva videos. I have another playlist of Facebook ad videos. I have another one for LinkedIn. So again, just, you can customize that drop-down list to whatever is appropriate for you. YouTube video URL. So just so that you can easily remember what that URL is. Duration, there we go. If you produce a transcript file, you can again create it as an attachment, upload it here, and then sometimes what I also do is video file locations, just so that I can put indicate where on my computer that actual video file lives. So now, as you can see, we've started this whole list of items that are going to be part of this YouTube idea process. Now I'm just going to quickly enter in some data here so that we can start brainstorming. You're going to see how this becomes more and more useful as you're thinking of your topics. So why don't I just use this as an example here, Airtable. And my status right now is that this is an idea. The topic is Airtable. And you're going to start to see how this all comes together when you're planning your stuff out. Video length, I don't know. Yes, I did create this. So the other thing is I can change these colors too, which is kind of cool. So if I wanted to be able to really identify the difference easily, we're going to make this long, this priority. Sometimes I don't use this field, but just in case I have a bunch of ideas, and you'll see where, now you see how it's 1.0. Again, you can come in and you can change these. So I don't want to use a decimal. I want it to be an integer. And there we go. We've just changed that. So priority. Now here's my video flow. And again, this is where I might want to add a lot of text. Now, obviously you see there isn't a ton of room here to write. Well, there's this little icon here that's called expand the cell. And there's also a keyboard shortcut. You can see right below that it's showing shift space as the keyboard shortcut. I could also click that here. So if I do click the expand view, you're seeing everything that we have in this other view, but I can start entering stuff this way as well. And this is usually what I'll actually do because it's a lot easier to fill out the information here. So video flow, I'm going to say intro to Airtable, create from blank table base. So again, this area where I use this video flow is really just to be my ideas, what I'm thinking I could cover. It could be even, sometimes I'll include links to other videos for inspiration, other websites that are giving me inspiration, things, other, text, or even writing parts of my script out of a video. You can use all of that content here. And again, because I made this as, when we edited this field, remember I said it was rich text formatting. So I can even go in here and I can add paragraphs. I can make this a heading, right? So this is really powerful. And again, something that you can't do in a regular spreadsheet. Now, if I was going to give my video a title, again, this is something that I change periodically, but so again, just some ideas for content. When I have my thumbnail ready, what I can actually do is just drag and drop it to add it in, or I can pull it in from Google Drive. There's a couple things you connect with. I can just drag and drop the file in here. I can search for it on my computer if I had that ready. Now let's say this is video publish date, so it's not published yet, so I'm going to leave that blank. But as you can see, you would just, enter in a date. It's as easy as that. So again, this would be the copy that I include as the description with my video. I could come back here at any time. This is just something that while I'm producing the video, I have an idea of what I want to explain, but usually I come back right before I'm going to publish to YouTube and I'll edit this out. Video, any links that I want to have. So let's say I've got another video that I've created, and I can include that as part of the description when I upload things. Any tags, so planning that out in advance saves you time as well. So these are all, tags you can use within YouTube, and sometimes I will plan this out later, but I'll keep them here in case I want to use them for social media posts, for hashtags, things like that. I'll add them there as well. So this one, let's just say I have, again, I could change this. So let's say these are my playlists for YouTube. Then I know where I need to make sure that I add that, right? Video URL, once we've uploaded the video, we'll get that. Video time, we're not going to know the time until we record the video. And again, transcript file I can add in later. So this is pretty much it. So now what you can start to see if we go back here is that I've got a whole bunch of ideas of the content that I can share for my videos. Okay, so we've gone through the process of actually setting up our first Airtable base. Really what we've done up till now is just gotten an idea of all the information we plan to have organized in our process. What I've covered here is everything from a topic to tagging a video in terms of the status of where we're at in our process. You're going to see very soon how I use that to filter and organize the data as I'm working through the process of creating different videos, whether I'm editing them, whether they're in the idea stage, once they've been published, and how sorting and organizing the content helps me through the following stages, which is really about when I take that video and post it to my website, or whether I plan how I'm going to post these different videos on social media. So what I want to do is we're going to jump back to screen mode. I'm going to add a couple extra fields for the blog part and posting to social media. And then what we're going to do is we're going to create a new view in Airtable, and I'm going to show you how I filter and organize this data using some of the other video content that I've already prepared. So let's go back into screen mode right now. Okay, so we're back here in Airtable, and what we're going to do right now is I'm just going to we're going to go to expanded view. And what I'm going to add from this view, just because we are here and ready, we're just going to add a couple additional fields in here. So the first one I'm going to add is YouTube. And we're just going to make this a checkbox, nice and easy. And we're just going to add a couple more of these here. So I'm going to whip through these really fast, and then we'll come back to the video right after and continue from there. Okay, so now if we do a review again, we're going to see that I've added some more fields in this table. So again, we've got our video topic, and this is our way of just thinking of an initial idea. We've got the status that our video might be through, whether it's an idea stage, whether we're in production stage, or whether it's finalized and published. We've got the topic for our video, which just helps us organize our content ideas. the video length, priority, if we have a priority of what we want to hit next, the video flow, which is really about our planning information or planning details of our video, a YouTube video title, we've got our thumbnail, text, YouTube thumbnail, which could be an attachment, the actual image that we create as our thumbnail we can upload here, the publish date of our video, our YouTube video description, any links that we want to include in the description, tags that we want to include in YouTube, what playlist it's associated with, and then keeping a record of our actual video URL so that we can easily find that for future purposes, the length of the video. If we've got a transcript that we've created or downloaded from another source, we can put that here and upload it to YouTube. And then a field just showing us where on our computer that we actually have that file located. And then I've got some checkboxes that we've added. So when I post something to a given platform, I'll just tick off that it's been posted there. So we've got YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok. Of course, you can customize to whatever platforms you want. And then when I post it on social media, I'll mark the date that I posted it initially, just so that I know I've done that. And then if I post this as a blog to my website, I've got a checkbox for that. I've got a spot to include the blog title. Oftentimes it will be the same title that I'll put on YouTube, but sometimes I do adjust it or change it. Again, the publish date for when I post it on my blog, and summary text. So usually when I post a video on my blog, I'll include also the copy that would be on that blog post, and then the blog thumbnail. So this is really all the information that I use in my entire workflow process, from brainstorming video content ideas to actually then posting the video on YouTube, and having all of that stuff ready to go saves me a lot of time when I'm ready to post my content on YouTube. And then as soon as that's done, if I'm ready to post it on my website, I've got all the needed information ready to go there. And the same thing with my social media posts. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to create a second view here on Airtable. And these are all the different views. So all of this data I can adjust and put it into a different sort of a different view or a different organization for whatever purpose I have. So let's create a second one here, and I'll just give you an example of what I mean here. So now we've got another view. It is also a grid view. But what I want to do this time is I want to hide some fields, because all I'm interested in for this is, while I've got all of these fields created, when I'm going through this process, all I really want to see is content that's related to YouTube. I am not interested in all this other stuff for blogs and social media. So we're just going to go in here and we can quickly uncheck all of these other views. So I'm going to give you a sneak peek into my actual workflow. You're going to see all the entire list of what I've created and all my different views. And then we're going to pop back here and I'm going to show you how we can do this on this view as well in Airtable, so you know how to set it up for yourself. Let's jump back into screen sharing mode right now. Okay, so here we are in the actual video planner that I've created for my own content. And as you can see in grid view, it's just a huge long list of different video ideas. And again, you can see the videos that I've got in production, videos that are in idea stage, videos that are published, the topics. Some of them, as I mentioned, I don't always use a priority, but if I've got a lot of things that I'm working with at one time, which you'll see in a second, sometimes I do that. Video flow. And again, this is a work in progress, so not everything is filled out here. And all the content there, you'll see that I have different ones are there. Now, the magic comes in having additional views. So we've got all of the data set up in one view, but then as we're about to build, I'm just going to show you what this looks like. This is the YouTube Publishing Planner. So what I've done here is I can now group my content, and that helps me organize things better. So instead of seeing one big blob, well, now I can organize, and you'll see that I have some hidden fields just that we just set up. I'm grouping them by status. So you'll see that I have all of my idea status grouped here. I've got all of the in progress videos here, and all of the things that I've published are down here. And then I'm sorting them by published date. So once they are published and I include the date here, you'll see that everything is sorted by date. And then as I scroll through, you can see where I've got different video titles, and I've indicated whether there's thumbnails included, the YouTube description. Sometimes I've included links, and I've built this as I've been going. So you'll notice that not everything is complete for everything here. Tags that I'm using in YouTube. I also have hashtags on this example, playlists where each video can be found, the URLs, and then again here when they're posted, I also include those fields here, but it's not as important on this view. And also the video time. So where this becomes helpful is that if I'm planning a new video and now we're into, these are the ones that I may be working on or are partially in recorded stage. Sometimes I record in batch, so I'll do a few videos at a time. Now I can see, you know, maybe I want to group a couple together. So I might want to publish, you know, these ones are short, but I might want to publish all the LinkedIn ones together, or maybe I want to balance what I'm doing and when I'm posting them. So by being able to view all of this stuff in a different way, like I am here, I can kind of get a little bit more strategic with how I'm planning things. And also while I'm editing and processing that information, I can always go in and look at different things and add content as I'm going along. So you can get in and see how I'm actually using this, where when this was published, this was my, you know, my initial idea. Then I've tagged it, whether it's long or not, the YouTube publish date, but this is my flow. So this is all the text that goes with my video description, my actual video title. This was my thumbnail that I included, my YouTube description. So this was the flow. This is what I was planning to talk about. This is the text that goes with my video. And then the URL. So I could click this and easily be able to get to that actual video if I wanted to. That's why that's helpful. And then the blog content. So it's ready to go when I want to post it on my blog. It's all here and I could easily copy and paste and post on my website. So this helps me get really strategic about things. And again, when I'm down and looking at the published, when it comes to creating, let's say this next video on LinkedIn, and I want to include links to other videos I've done, by having a view like this, I can again go through and see, okay, well, I created this video. Maybe I want to include that in the video description and include that link to this video if it's relevant, right? Maybe I want to see what other videos I've published on this playlist so that I can reorganize them or adjust things like that. So this has really helped me just keep everything organized and in one place. So let's jump back into our other Airtable view, and we're going to create that now. And I'm going to show you how to filter and organize and group content together. What I'm first going to do is I am going to copy and paste some of the records from my own current plan, just so that you can get an idea of seeing stuff when there's a larger list of data in there. Let's jump back to screen view and I'll demo that right now. Okay, so now I've added a bunch of different topics in this table, so we've got more content to play with. I've also adjusted the status of these video topic ideas here, so you can see that some are in production, some are published, some are in the idea phase. I've adjusted a couple of the topics. One thing I'm going to do, because it's helpful in this view, and what sets apart the different views, is that we can adjust anything in any way we want and it won't affect the different views. So what I do want to do is I do want to move this column over. So again, we can just pick it up and drag it across. Some of this other information isn't as important for me to see. So again, I could even in this view, I could hide some other tables. Let me just see if there's anything else I want to move across here. Let's move playlist over. So again, this stuff you can change at any time while you're playing here in Airtable. And there's one other thing that I wanted to bring over, which is the checkbox, so that it's been posted. So just to give you a sense of how you can view things in a different way. So what I'm going to do here is for the ones that have been published, just to give you an idea of how things work here, I'm just going to enter in some random dates. January 24th. So you can see there's a difference of dates here. I'm going to tag the ones that have been flagged. Okay. So now what we want to do is we want to actually group these. So we can just click here on the group, and then we're going to actually group them by status, right? Yeah. So now you see how it's automatically just sorted all this stuff for me. So I can see the videos that have been published. I can see what I'm working on now, and I can see the idea phase. So there's a couple interesting things I can do here just to save on space. So one is I could collapse the menus. If I don't want to see anything of the idea phase, and I just wanted to concentrate on production and publish, I could just close that list down. If I wanted to, again, I could always open this up and edit and adjust things as I go along. And here you can see that this is that priority field. So I can organize my topics in terms of what do I want to record and what time. And it just gives you a better way to organize all your stuff when you're in here, because it's in one place and you can adjust the different views and you can see things in a different way. And that's why I find it's very, very helpful when I'm ready to work on things. If I was ready to publish this video into YouTube, what I usually do is I'll go in to expanded view. I'll make sure that all of this other stuff is filled out. I'd probably have my video title ready. I'd have my thumbnail ready. Or the thumbnail text, I'd have some ideas of that. I would have already uploaded the video thumbnail so that it's there ready to go. I'd have written up my video description, any links that I wanted to include in the tag, or I'd put them right in there. The tags would all be ready. So when I'm going to upload it to YouTube, all of this stuff is ready to go. Whether I'm doing it or whether I'm hiring someone to help me do this, they can all find it ready to go in one complete spot, and everything's there. It saves a bunch of time rather than, okay, now I'm gonna go upload a video to YouTube. I'm gonna go to YouTube, I'm gonna select the file, and doing everything there in the YouTube planner. Everything is ready to go here, and it saves you a lot of time. Now, one other thing I did wanna do is sort by that field. So if we go back and then we wanted to sort by publish date, there we go. So now you can see that it's sorted by date, and I can see which one was sorted. Now, if I wanted to reverse that order, which I believe I do on mine, right? So now I can see the newest at the top, the oldest at the bottom, and it's ready to go. So it's just, again, it's a really easy way to get in here and see all the content. And again, if I wanted to hide more fields on this view, I could, for example, I don't need to see the transcript. I could take that away. YouTube thumbnail text, I could take that away. I could, so anything, you know, you can adjust these as you want to go along. And that just makes the process of organizing your content a lot easier. So that's it for video 1 of this Airtable video series. Once again, stay tuned for video 2. I'm going to be posting that next week. Make sure to subscribe below so you get a notification when that video is uploaded to YouTube and ready for you to watch. In the next video, we're going to be covering how to go through adding a process for posting your video content as a blog post on your website. And also, I'm going to show you what I use to organize my social media post planner. Everything from taking my videos as social posts and repurposing them to also bringing that content into a secondary table where I have all my other social media posts planned out. It's really helpful, saves a lot of time. And again, whether you yourself are posting or editing your own videos, updating your website, posting to your social media, whether you're doing it or whether you have someone on your team or an outsourced staff doing it, bringing all of that information complete, ready to go in one spot that multiple people can access will save a ton of time. Stay tuned for the next video in the series. Again, my name is Lowell Brown from Going Social, where we make social media marketing easy and effective. I'll see you in the next video.